Edison and Lois have dedicated significant time and financial resources to the Chalmers Hospital Foundation over the years. They are a wonderful couple, very inspiring, and most deserving of this award.
My name is Edison Phillips. I was born in Roche.
I grew up 5 miles outside Newcastle in South Nelson Road. I was raised on a farm. We had a small farm. We had horses to feed. We had hay to bring in. I was the oldest of 2. My brother was 5 years younger.
I just remember doing more or less chores, bringing in kindling and stuff like that, but not, you know, in farms I do remember milking a cow and things like that. My mother was many things, and among them she was certainly a housemaker and a midwife, and many other jobs she had. I'm sure to feed 10 kids that she had to have a lot of things.
When I was younger, I always wanted to be a nurse. From the time I can remember, I've wanted to be a nurse. Now I wait on the nurses that look after the sick. They all like a cup of coffee.
Edison and Lois both moved to Fredericton around the same time. Edison started working at the Hart Shoe Factory, and he needed a place to stay. When a nice couple, Jim and Gladys McGowan, took him in and helped him out.
So I went to live with them, and no father and mother could have treated any boy better than they treated me. All through the 5 years that I stayed there, they were just super to me.
Years later, Gladys passed away, and Edison took it upon himself to look after Jim in his later years.
I could see Jim was getting a little bit off track, so he was developing Alzheimer's. So I started spending more time with him, taking him out and getting his groceries and so on.
Edison, at the request of Jim's sons, helped him move to a local nursing home.
And I went up and said, "Jim, how do you like it?" He said, I don't. So I said, well, I got to do something about this. So I went to DVA, and I got him in the DVA real fast. And by that time, he hardly knew where he was. But I did go to him the following day after him being in the DVA. He said, "Jim, how do you like it here?" "Good, good, good." And every time I'd go, I'd say, "Jim, how do you like it here?" "Good, good, good," until he couldn't say it any longer.
Edison and Lois first met on a blind date set up by 2 close friends of theirs. It wasn't long after that they got married.
I liked her very, very much. And I thought it would be a good girl for me to have the rest of my days.
We met in '52 and we were married in '56. It was kind of hectic. Because Mom and I were trying to get everything ready, all the dishes washed and stacked and so on, ready for the reception, and I was running around in a long slip down to my ankles because I had a long dress, and running back and forth between the neighbors and home trying to get everything set up.
Edison, while working at the shoe factory, took on a second job driving taxi.
When I was working at the shoe factory and thinking that I wasn't making a whole lot of money, that I would like to have extra cash, and my brother-in-law had a taxi company, but I got driving taxi at nights and weekends and holidays. That was back in the mid-50s, I'd say. Mid-50s right up to the early 60s.
If you look at the time and money that Edison and Lois have contributed to various organizations over the years, you realize the significant impact that they have made. For many years, they have supported the Hospital Auxiliary, the Chalmers Foundation, York Manor, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and the Royal Canadian Legion.
Edison was a member of the branch because he was in the Reserve Army for 21 years. So he was chairman of the bingo committee, so of course I worked on the bingo committee with him. Well, then they talked me into joining the auxiliary, which I did. And I've been in the auxiliary now for 33 years. And I've served on different committees in the auxiliary, but at present I'm membership chairman.
Edison started supporting the Chalmers Hospital Foundation in 1994 and continues his generous support every year.
Then I started getting real sick that I didn't know for sure whether I was going to live. I was that sick. And every time that I would get a bad spell, I'd end up phoning the doctor over at Chalmers Hospital for help. That just made me decide real fast who I wanted to make a donation to.
To date, he has given over $200,000 to the Chalmers Hospital, and their contributions have made a significant impact on patient care. We are just so thrilled that they're receiving this award. They are each so deserving of this honor.
I'm very proud to think that I'm a plain old country girl in the city of Fredericton, the capital of the province. And they named my husband and I Philanthropist of the Year, and he is also from the country. It's really something, because there's a lot of people in Fredericton, I'm sure, that deserve it more than we do.
Couldn't hardly believe it, because I didn't think that anybody, I thought there was always executives that was nominated for these things. I never thought to follow it down as the category that I was in. It was ever nominated before. So I just dumbfounded, really. Still am. Can't believe it yet.